Hey, what's up, folks? Welcome to Body Rocking Combos. I'm Javier Morales, and this is episode 15. And on episode 15, we're going to talk about how the LDBC and its hypocrisy. All right? The LDBC and its hypocrisy. Man, y'all know the shows, man. Ego, Dante, Akahi, Fannin, 7-8. And there's a whole bunch of other guys making a bunch of little shows that just they just talk crazy, right? Like I said in the first one, man, they spit it out and these guys eat it up, and then they spit it out too, man. Or they vomit it, man. It's vomited. Right here's real spit on this show. Right here on Body Rocking Combos, it's all real spit. Know what I mean? So, man, you know, Fannin has a show, and I'll put his link in the description. I don't know if I can do that, but I'll do it if I, might kick me off. I don't know. But anyway, if y'all know Fannin, y'all check out his show. I had a lot of respect for the guy. He was on point a lot of times, man. He had a lot of good things to say or whatever. But man, as soon as he joined that LDBC, his opinions changed about all kinds of stuff. I'm not even going to get into it, but put it this way. He was a Tyson Fury fan, and he never hated on Canelo. But I guess the LDBC does kind of go and tell you what to say because they change their little... He changed his little rhythm. But anyway. So, yeah, let's talk about how their little hypocrisy. For some reason, Fannin decided to make a show talking about that Canelo is freezing out Spence. How do you freeze out somebody that's two divisions under you, right? That's impossible. I don't get it. The dude's campaigning at 147, calling out this man at 168, who says, I want to fight everybody at 168 because he wants to be undisputed champion, right? Okay. He's saying it's to take, not to take somebody's little slogan, but like Earl Spence says, strap season, right? It's strap season. So he wants every strap at that division. How is it okay that Spence says it, right? Spence says, oh, I want to unify at 160, at 147. Canelo says it. He's avoiding Jermall, Charlo, and Spence. And now he's freezing out Spence, apparently. Apparently he's freezing out this guy at 147, saying his name, clout chasing, you like to say, Well, it's a real term, right? Clout chasing. It's a political term. Yeah, you want to use somebody's name just to build your popularity. All right, that's fine. If he wants Canelo, then, man, make a fight like that with one of the guys at 168. Go fight Plant. You got a while. Go up there and offer Plant. Tell Al Heyman to do whatever he can to make that Plant fight because you want to go ahead and you want to fight Canelo. That's how bad you want to fight him, right? All right. Now, apparently Canelo ducks Jermall Charlo by moving up and fighting at 168, at 175, and let's not forget that they gave him the franchise belt, and I believe they offered it to Spence as well, but he turned it down, I think. And if I'm not mistaken, I remember reading something about that, hearing something about it. Anyway. But then Spence, right? So Canelo moves up and fights Kovalev and Kovalev and everybody at 168. Well, he fought Smith and he fought Fielding just to kind of get a little showcase fight after fighting little tough fights or whatever with Golovkin. Anyway, how was? And then, so he's ducking for moving up that much weight. But your boy Spence is not ducking Terence Crawford by moving up to fight Canelo? How is he not freezing out Terence Crawford? That makes more sense, right? That makes more sense. Now, to say his plan was to fight, Spence says his plan is to fight Pacquiao, Porter, beg Canelo for a fight, and you know, maybe he'll try, you know, if he can still make the weight here later, you know, if what's his name takes pennies on the dollar for to fight him, right? So he's gotta take what we give him, right? So all of a sudden, you're the negotiator now, right? Now there's money, now it counts, right? But yeah, how is that not freezing out Terence Crawford, and how is that not ducking Terence Crawford? I don't get it. Y'all explain to me, because I don't get it. These guys are hypocrites, and it's ridiculous, right? So Canelo is ducking Charlo and Andre at 154 and 160. He's ducking them, right? So while Canelo was fighting Austin Trout, Lara, Cotto, Golovkin, Smith, we'll take off Smith. Oh yeah, well Smith, yeah, at 154. And then Jacobs. Who else did he fight? Yeah, I want to say I said Lara, but all that 154 and then 160, Cotto, you know, like I said, Golovkin, all that moved up. These guys, you know, Andre lost his belt at 154, but Canelo had already moved up and got the middleweight strap from Cotto. You know, at the catch weight that Cotto asked for, 155, and then he did that voluntary fight with your boy Amir Khan, who didn't bring up to the full 160, right? He made it fair, 155, and then, you know, he went down to test the waters again at 154 to see if he can make it. Said he felt weak, wasn't going to touch 154 anymore, and he did fight Beefy Smith, right? Cullum's brother, Liam. And anyway, so Canelo fighting all these guys, all these top names, champions at 54 and 60. He's running from these guys. Well, meanwhile, Charlo and Andre are fighting who? Look at, let's just say 160. Charlo's fighting. He fought. Let me think of the guy's name. Heelan Centron. Then he was gonna make with Monroe, but then Monroe failed that test, the drug test, and then he fought Korobov instead. Got his ass handed to him by Korobov, and then he ends up fighting Adams. Brings him up from 154. Fights Adams. Fights Hogan, who again brings up from 154, who just lost to Jaime Munguia. And then you fight Derevyanchenko, who just came off of a loss, a very good fight versus Golovkin, of course, but it was a loss, and the man failed every test he's had, and pretty much an old punching bag by then. But hey, no credit. I'm gonna give Charlo his credit on that fight. I said I would. This is me giving it, but not gonna give him all the credit. It's not like it's the elite guy, you know. Anyway, and how's he not? And then he turns down. He turns down a $7 million offer from Canelo. From Eddie Hearn to fight Andre. On record, everybody said, Lord, I forget what excuses he came up with for not fighting Demetrius Andre. Then Golden Boy says they send him. They didn't send him the contract, but they offered his people $10 million to fight Canelo, and he turns that down. Now he's doing a video talking about, oh, it never happened. He'd be crazy if he didn't do it. Anyway, right? All right. Well, come on, man. Nobody's saying that he's ducking, but you know, Canelo's ducking these two guys. There's no. I don't see the evidence there, man. You know, we're talking about a time when he had a promoter and they were moving him as they wanted and fought who they wanted, whatever deals they made and whatever deals they can make, right? Since y'all like talking about that across the street being the reason that Spence isn't fighting Terence Crawford because apparently I got this made up street that doesn't count, because we've seen countless fights versus top rank fighters and PBC fighters. I'm trying to keep it clean here, fellas. A lot of words I gotta delete myself, gotta stop myself from saying. All right, now Spence isn't fighting weak opposition, right? He is not. He's fighting the greatest, the best, but Canelo is fighting trash, right? Let's see. Spence fighting in his division, got his little belts, told Porter, oh man, why don't I just make the easy road? Why don't I just take the easy road and fight Porter? I mean, to me and everybody else, and what Spence meant, the easier fight. But now y'all want to flip it to where it's negotiation. Oh, he just meant negotiation, the easy route of negotiation. And then he fights Porter. No offense to Porter, good fighter, whatever. But in his eyes, easy route. Fights Garcia, and everybody's tries to hype up Garcia, this and that. Failed every test he's ever taken. Then he fights. Oh, he's chasing. Who's he chasing now? I guess Pacquiao. He's chasing. He doesn't want to fight Pacquiao. He wants to fight Pacquiao anyway. An older Pacquiao. Who knows if he'll beat him or not? Of course, they're gonna put. I mean, it's not a bad idea. I was gonna say something about the PED, the drug testing, and all that, which is a good thing. They should have had it for him and Thurman. But I promise you, he'll probably fight Porter again, and probably fight Thurman before he ever fights Terence Crawford. You know, which is crazy. And now he's offering him like, what do you say, 60-40 or 60-30, 60-40 or 70-30, or whatever crumbs we want to give him. You know, is that not freezing him out? Is that not ducking? Is that not trying to make it impossible for that man to fight? And y'all guys, y'all cheer that on, or y'all look the other way. But if Canelo says, hey, Charlo, tomorrow, come on, sign. Let's fight. 60-40, right? 70-30, right? You know what? Let's go 80-20. We'll just say 80-20. You really want it? You the bad man? Come on. If Spence does it, oh, that's because he's a pay-per-view champ. That hasn't done nothing. Blah 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 blah. Here comes all the attorneys out, right? Out of the woodworks. All the LDBC attorneys come out, and they go, and they're all fighting for Spence, and trying to make it not seem like he's ducking Terence Crawford, because I mean, y'all know he is. Y'all see it. Everybody sees it. I don't know why y'all act like y'all ain't seeing it. Canelo moved up. Fought who he had to fight. His little thing to do. His little he has a goal, right? Now he has a goal at a weight division. He tried to do the strap season thing over at 160, but Golden Boy screwed him out of that deal when they tried to move the little chess pieces around so they can dangle the Golovkin fight in front of Canelo to fight, because they had a false promise made to the zone, and that false promise was that Canelo was going to fight Golovkin. So they undermined it or backstabbed Canelo pretty much, and vacated vacated and gave up the belt as if he was scared to fight Derevyanchenko, and gave it to Golovkin, right? And it was public that made it. He was upset about the whole situation, this and that, and of course the LDBC came out and they were all talking about that. Oh, he's scared of Derevyanchenko. You don't want that smoke. You don't want that smoke. Same thing they said about like Saunders, Plant, and they're blabbing on about David Benavidez, non-strap holder, coke snorter, Fat boy, powder donuts to the nose. Anyway, yeah. So now he's scared of him or something. Long list of people he's scared of, but definitely Jermall Charlo is who he fears and has nightmares of, and he fears Spence, right? Let them tell it. Let the narrative say it, right? Let's see. Well, that's. I just want to point out this hypocrisy, man. The PBC fighters, they clout chase left and right. The twins constantly talking about cinnamon, this and that, and then, nobody's talking about him fighting. Why aren't you fighting Andre? Why aren't you fighting campaigning to fight Golovkin? Golovkin I can't really defend because the WBC did come out and tell him after he lost his belt to Canelo and said, you want the third fight, you can, we're going to make Charlo's mandatory right? You are Charlo's mandatory, Mr. Golovkin. And Golovkin said, nah, I'm cool. I'm going to do something else, right? And anyway, for now, I'm just going to leave it at that. I just wanted to leave my 2 cents and drop my little dime in the mix about how these guys just the hypocrisy they constantly regurgitate on this on their shows, and people follow it and they don't even think about it. But luckily we have other channels, and myself, the little guy, trying to do the best that we can to educate y'all guys, or at least point out for you guys to do some research before you just listen to these guys who say one thing and then say another later. Because I promise you this, the day that Canelo fights and dominates Charlo, and I hope that's the first thing they do next year. I just hope so, man. I pray and pray that that's what happens, like I said, these guys have a goal for 168. I'm not hating on it. That's cool. Y'all want to be they want to be undisputed at that division. They have that goal. Let's say right now it's only 2 fights. Billy Joe Saunders and Plant. They get those fights. Remember, there is the IBO that, like I said, not too many people give it credit. But the IBO, there's that guy Carlos Gonora from Ecuador who just won it. That's open season for anybody who wants to go and tell that guy and make that fight happen, right? I mean, I don't know his promoter or anything like that, but pretty sure he's open season for anyone to go and snatch him up, because he was on the zone. I mean, if Billy Joe Saunders ain't going to pick Andre over a Canelo fight, so if Canelo goes in and fights in February, as soon as possible, fights Eardrum in Mexico, because they want to make that fight a little showcase action out there and knock their mandatory out for their people, for the people in Mexico. Why not? It's his career, man. He could do what he wants. I mean, he's doing something for his people. He'll go over there and go ahead and get some of those fans back, man, because a lot of people just hate on him, man. A bunch of Mexicans themselves hate on him, but that's cool. That's just how some Mexicans are, but that's okay. That's okay. I mean, everybody has that. If you don't have haters, you're not great. The only thing that people criticize you because it's something they are not doing, something they cannot do. So all they can do is criticize you and bring you down. He ain't hearing it. He ain't trying to hear it, and he ain't worried about that. He ain't worried about the LDBC haters and all that. I guess leave that little battle to me and the rest of these boys on YouTube to point out all the LDBC's little silliness. Anyway, man, I'm out. Comment, like, subscribe, share, whatever you got to do, man. Just show your love to boxing, man. Support the channel, support the sport, and you know, hang in there with me, man. These shows are gonna get better, and we get my little merch up, my little website going, and you know, the sky's the limit, man. See what we can get.